Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Naila Anjani Aulia and I am from class A24. Hi everyone. Let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you watched animated films? Maybe last week, or maybe it's been years. But I bet, whether you're a kid or an adult, you've watched at least one animated film that made you laugh, cry, or even think deeply. Because here's the thing, animated films are not just cartoons. They are a mirror of real life through colorful characters, magical words, and sometimes a talking snowman. Today, I want to talk about how animated films, especially those from studios like Disney and Pixar, teach us valuable life lessons, lessons that many adults often forget. Next, let's begin with one of my all-time favorite animated films, Inside Out. At first glance, it looks like a movie with cute characters named joy, anger, fear, sadness, and disgust. But when we watch it closely, we realize that this movie is talking about emotional intelligence, something that many adults struggle with. Inside Out shocked me, and maybe many of us. It's okay to feel sad. In fact, sadness is important. We often stay happy all the time. We smile when we're not okay. We say, I'm fine when we're hurting. But Inside Out reminds us that embracing sadness actually can bring healing. There is a scene when sadness comforts Bing Bong and suddenly he feels understood. That scene shows us sadness builds empathy and connection. As someone who really bottles up just to appear strong, this film is really hit home. Next, let's jump into Coco, a film that beautifully blends with culture, music, and meaning. Yes, it's entertaining, but at its core, Coco talks about something many of us avoid death. It shows us that death isn't just an ending, it's a continuous tour of memories. In Mexican culture, tour of Dia de los Muertos, families believe as long as someone's remembered, they live in spirit. The message is so powerful. When I watch Coco, I talk about my grandmother who passed away years ago. She used to sing lullabies to me, and I still remember her voice. And thanks to Coco, because of that, I think there is so many ways to keep someone still remember through stories, through photos, even through songs. It's a way to keep that someone close to us. And Coco also teach us about family forgiveness and following your dreams. Even it's like a breaking tradition with kindness and respect. Next, let's talk about a philosophical film, Soul. This movie is deeper than many live actions I've ever seen. It tells the story of a man who believed his life will only matter if he becomes a famous jazz musician. But after a magical accident, he ends up in the Great War and begins to question what life is really about. The biggest takeaway? Life is not about one big purpose, it's about the small, ordinary moments. Eating pizza, feeling the wind, talking with a friend. I think sometimes we all chase something big, becoming successful, getting the perfect job, or achieving a dream. But soul gently reminds us that existing is already meaningful, that our lives don't need to be extraordinary to be important. This film helped me slow down, that enjoy the little things like drinking tea in the silence or watching the sunset. And then there is Up. Yes, the one with the flying house and the balloons. But remember the first 10 minutes of the movie? The love story of Car and Ellie. Without any dialogue, we see their entire life together, falling in love, dreaming, forcing disappointment, and eventually, Carl losing Ellie. It's one of the most emotional scene I've it's one of the most emotional scene ever made. Up shows us how grief can make us stuck, but also how can give us the courage to start over. Carl learns that even though his past was beautiful, his future can still be meaningful. It's a powerful reminder that we can find new adventures even after loss. So, what do all these films have in common? They use fantasy to teach us real life truths. They use humor to talk about pain. And they use simple animation to deliver proven lessons. When I was younger, I thought animated films were just for fun. But now, I realize they shape how I think, how I feel, and even how I live. Whether it's Inside Out teaching us to accept our emotions, Coco showing us the value of memory, Shoal encouraging us to enjoy life's small moments, or Up reminding us that it's never too late to start again. This movie teaches us how to be human. So next time someone says, it's just a cartoon, you can smile and say, actually, is a life lessons disguised in color and magic. That's all. Thank you.